Well, I mean, first order of business to have a competition is you got to get everyone on the roster and give them a uniform number. That is now complete, so we know who's got what and where. So on this front with Gabriel and Sanders and Kenny Pickett, who's wearing number 8, and Flacco getting 15 back. What is your first blush sense of with OTAs right around the corner? How is this going to work? And handicap it for me, if you don't mind, Albert.
Well, first of all, I think this is the first time I've ever had a conversation on any sort of show about what jersey number a fifth-round pick is going to wear. So,
well, first of all, because we were discussing this before, Albert, with what's going on with Abdul Carter searching for a number in New York, right? But on top of it, could you imagine if Shedeur made any public sense of wanting a number? What that would mean? Like, if he twitches in any direction about something other than football and trying to win this job and keeping his head down, it would cause a national conversation. There would be chats on every single talk show known to man. So I guess that's part of the reason why I bring it up. But it also,
for sure, Rich. I mean, like, I can tell you, like, our traffic numbers at SI, like, you can see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why people talk. I mean, whether as relevant football wise as it is, or it may not be, like, it's 100% relevant to the people that are watching us right now.
No question. And the number of people I'm sure you got texts from that would never text you during a draft, like me. I got them during a draft. Like, what's up with Shedeur? When I woke up Saturday morning in Green Bay for day 3, I've never received a bunch of texts from people that I would never hear from a draft about who's still on the board for day 3 ever in the 22 years I've done it. So all that said, how does everything work? What's your sense on how things work in Cleveland?
So my sense is that Joe Flacco is going to take the first snap in the spring, which there's some significance to that. I think Mike Tomlin called it pole position last year when he was talking about his own quarterback situation. I think Joe Flacco has pole position here. Now, I think there's such limited work in the spring, and the rules are so strict about what you can and can't do, that it's going to be a challenge for them to find a way to make sure that everybody gets enough work to A, learn the offense, and B, be in position to compete when they get to training camp. And the interesting thing about this is that, like, if you look at it, the guarantees in Joe Flacco's deal and Kenny Pickett's deal are almost identical to one another. So walking away from either guy would more or less have the same penalty. So even though Joe Flacco gets the first snap in the spring, that doesn't mean like Kenny Pickett won't get the first snap in the summer, or that Joe Flacco is going to make the team if Kenny Pickett wins the job. So you have that, that you take into account. Then you take into account, is one of the rookies, be it Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, ready to be a backup? Like, are you ready to give him that important job, or you would want to walk away from one of the veterans? And if they aren't, if you're going to keep both veterans, does that mean you're going to keep 4 quarterbacks in your roster? Do you have any prayer of keep getting either of those guys, Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, to the practice squad? In normal circumstances, Rich, the 3rd round pick, you know this as well as I do, if you're drafted in the 3rd round, you've basically made the team, right? And that's not the case with 5th round pick. But if Shedeur outplays Dillon Gabriel, but Shedeur isn't quite ready to be the backup, like, what does that mean for what does that mean for Dillon Gabriel? Does that mean you walk away from Dillon Gabriel? It's complicated because of the numbers here. We're not even getting to what happens when Deshaun Watson is cleared. It's a complicated situation, and they're going to have to be creative in getting these guys enough work. One solution here, and this is, how complicated this whole thing is. One solution here might be, well, Joe, you played for Kevin Stefanski a couple of years ago, so we're going to give you a little bit less work. But if you're Joe Flacco, are you okay with that? Because there's a new offensive coordinator in Tommy Rees there who you haven't worked with. Are you okay giving the other 3 guys a leg up in the competition if you're trying to win the job? Probably not. It's a challenge, to say the least. And for Kevin Stefanski, and finding a way to make it equitable for everybody to have a chance to go and win the job, and make it fair too for the rest of the team. So you've got a guy who's in uniform and starting in September, who's had enough work to be a starting quarterback in one of the toughest divisions in football, and for a team that, oh, by the way, made the playoffs 2 years ago and has a lot of veteran players like Myles Garrett that aren't going to be too receptive to the idea of wasting a year in the name of a quarterback project.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.